following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down, handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Buried, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
What's up? Welcome inside the SWBC Mortgage Studio for Talkin Cowboys on a bye-week Wednesday. It's sort of like a Wednesday. Cowboys will practice here in about an hour. Is that right, Mick?
1 hour.
1 hour.
10:30. As soon as we finish, we got to walk outside or inside.
One of the two?
Well, we're supposed to have a 100% chance of rain, and it sounded like when I was doing my deal with the fan, it's already raining downtown Dallas.
I haven't gotten Bucky's forecast yet, so it doesn't look like outdoor practice.
I didn't see anything out there.
The water buckets will usually tell you where they're going to do.
I didn't see anything.
Buckets.
Yeah. I didn't see any signs that they're going to work outside.
All right. Rob Phillips hosting for Bill Jones today.
Wednesday-less Jones Day.
That's the way it rolls. He's got TV obligations. He is TV man. You're radio man, and so are you. Brian Broaddus, Mickey Spagnola, Kent Garrison next door producing as always. Well, not a typical bye week Wednesday.
No.
Not a typical bye week. It's not quiet around here.
No.
They've got a new wide receiver that should be there. Here today, was here yesterday. If you want to go on DallasCowboys.com, Nick Eatman spoke with Amari Cooper for the first time since arriving in Dallas. And, I don't know what we'll be able to glean from practice this week.
Yeah.
Shorter practices, lighter practices, assuming he's ready to go. I know he was in concussion protocol before he was traded here or agreed to be traded here.
Sure. Can't trade a hurt player, too, by the way.
That's true. So
he had
be
to
all
pass
right.
the physical and all that. He did that yesterday.
So he's good to go.
Yeah, the
You
trade
think
will go.
they'll even have helmets on today?
That's a good question.
We've seen that in the past where they have not. So, yeah, that might be more of a – it's been in the past, too, with him. He's done a thing where he's let the backups –
It's been a teaching
thing.
session
Yeah, he's
for
let
the young guys.
He's letting the backup guys get opportunities, like the guys, with like Cameron Fleming will get some snaps, I'm sure. How about Suafilo will get some snaps? How about Adam Redmond? The offense. I mean, get those backup guys a few more reps. They don't get as many during the week, so it's a good opportunity. Maybe get some of your practice squad guys to look or two. See if they're paying attention to what you're trying to do. I know that's secondary to compare to what's going on in the season, but that's how coaches approach what we're about to probably see for the next couple of days. Keep those veteran players, off their feet, let them kind of catch their breath, heal up their bodies a little bit more, and then, get ready for the second half push.
And as Rob, you wrote about the injuries, those guys, just let them rest, right?
Been a healthy team so far. It really has.
A couple guys banged up. Zach Martin, Jeff Swaim. As Brian said, those guys aren't going to practice. They've got knee sprains from the game
So it
against
ended
Washington.
up being an MCL. Is that what Jason said?
For both guys,
Both
yes.
guys?
Yeah. Said hopefully not too long for Jeff Swaim. Zach was able to tape it up and play in the second half.
Right.
So that's encouraging. Randy Gregory got a knee scope, by the way, yesterday.
He must have had a loose something in there. If
Something's
they think
floating.
he's going to be back real soon.
Yeah, they're
I
going there.
remember Jay Novacek had it during the bye week, and by the time they played the next game in the playoffs, he was playing. It's like, seriously?
Yeah.
It's like within 2 weeks, he was back out there.
They think he'll be ready for Tennessee.
I had a friend go through a scope like that, and it was a kind of a meniscus deal, and he was asking me about it. I go, yeah. I go, Jay was out there in 2 weeks. I think 3 months later, he finally got back on the tennis court.
Yeah.
A little different.
For a little different athlete, yeah.
Finally tuned athletes.
Yeah.
Sure. What else are they trying to get out of this bye week typically? I know besides resting guys and maybe giving some reps to some other guys on the roster with your regulars, your starters.
Yeah.
More of a self-scouting situation this week.
It is. It is self-scouting. And the way the league now has it set up because of collective bargaining is because you have to give them so many days off.
4 straight.
And
it's got to include Saturday and Sunday.
Right. So with that being said, back in the day, you could have practiced them all the way up till Friday, and then giving them, then say Saturday, and then you have to be back Sunday night.
You remember what Bill did?
Oh, Bill.
Bill didn't let them know until Friday if they were going to have Thursday if they were going to have the weekend off, and then at the last minute he goes, but you got to be here on Monday.
Exactly. So the rules have changed a lot. They're thinking about the players and what they're doing. So, there's not really a lot you can get done. The focus this week needs to be on getting Amari Cooper ready the best they can, and I mean acclimated, and I mean with meetings. Rob, you and I did a mailbag this morning, and it was a really good question by the gentleman that wrote in, and he's asking, what can Sanjay Lyle do? We know I keep saying Alan Hearns. We know what Amari Cooper can do as far as a route runner and his ability to catch and all that, but how can Sanjay Lyle help him? And the classroom stuff will help, but he's got to be able to help him with when they do checks. And that'd be more of a game plan thing. When how do you help a guy to get ready? You say, okay, when the quarterback checks this is our route, and when he checks this is our adjustment, and this is when. See, I think Cooper will be fine as a player playing the game. It's when Dak Prescott decides he turns his body sideways and starts moving his hands, or putting his hands together or tapping them together, whatever he has to do to kind of tell the wide receivers, okay, now you adjust your route from this to this. So they're going to have to get him up to speed, how quickly they make adjustments on the fly. If in fact they see something that they mean, you don't want him out there running the wrong route and then Prescott throws an out and he's going on that vertical thing, and then everybody says, oh, there it is, chemistry problems. That's a problem, communication issues, all those things like that. Yep. So, the most important thing for him is to try and learn when they make adjustments. And a lot of that will have to do with game planning next week. But this week they could kind of say, okay, these are kind of the built-in things that we do when we see certain coverages.
So pay attention when you hear Dak going kill,
yeah,
and see if he's sitting there going,
and if he goes palms up on you, then that's a terrible sign. That's a terrible sign because again, that could be something that Dak is going to take off a run and he's going to try and throw a quick screen, or he's going to throw a slant on the backside, or something different is going to happen, and that's going to be the most important thing. I have no doubt that Amari Cooper is going to come in here and be ready to learn and to run routes and to try and help this football team, like he said. It's the communication things that he's going to need to learn here in the next 2 weeks that could either help him, go further or, kind of keep where we're at right now with some of the things.
I can't, because I haven't seen a wide receiver wear like a wristband with the plays on there, or the
it's been a while,
or what they're doing. As a matter of fact,
you go to high school games.
I saw something last night that I don't think I've ever seen in the world. It was in the World Series. Huh. The catcher has him. Yeah. Had a deal on his wrist,
right?
And he's checking. I guess he was checking what pitches for what players, or how they were going to pitch them.
To avoid sign stealing, maybe
to avoid some sign stealing.
Yeah.
But also too, he was, who had it on? Was it Boston or Los Angeles?
I thought it was the Dodgers catcher.
Sometimes in the lineup might be on there. He's got an idea of how to maybe pitch a pitcher or pitch to.
I don't know if I saw that.
But it's they're just going to have to get this guy up to speed that way. I think that's really the most important thing. I think all the other physical things that he has to do, that'll just be fine. He'll learn. And don't be surprised if him and Dak sit around a lecture. I mean, this guy's got to go sit in a hotel room for the evening, the afternoon, whatever. Don't be surprised if Dak Prescott's hanging out here, with him after practice. So maybe a few cars in the parking lot, in the player lot. It might be Dak's, and heck, they might go to dinner afterwards, talk a little more. I mean, this is important. I mean, this is really important. This is one of those moves where it can clearly make a difference in your football team, because for 7 weeks we've talked about the inability of the offense to do things that they need to do. They've done well at home and function better, but that's because they function with the running game. And now they need to figure out, okay, if we don't function with the running game, how do we function with a passing game? And a lot of this is going to be on Dak Prescott's ability to come up to speed, with Amari Cooper, but also, don't be surprised if some other guys get involved. Some other guys are meeting with them to try and figure out some of the things that they need to do a little bit better.
And a lot of this, it's not about the physical work.
No.
About, timing and practicing more. It's about the mental
mental
stuff
side of it, yeah.
to get that down so he can play fast
Yeah.
and not be sitting there wondering, am I running the right route? I'm
Right.
in the middle of the route. Am I made the right adjustment? So just being in the playbook and being with Sanjay Lal and Dak. And because a lot of people are going to sit here and go, I know it's going to happen. It's like, well, they only got 2 days of practice in, and it's
Right.
only 1 hour. How much, they're not going to. No.
Bill said it on our show yesterday.
Who did?
Bill, right
Oh,
here,
that's
the
right.
stair.
Yeah.
And they do. They have a couple 2 hour, 1 hour
not
practices
much.
today.
Yeah.
It's
Yesterday
better.
and
It's
tomorrow.
better than getting ready for a game. It really is.
Yeah.
If you think about it. At least they have some time now to sit down and go through those things. When you're getting ready for a game plan, you don't have much time to sit there and coach guys up along the way. But there's been some amazing players through the years. I remember Sterling Moore coming in here with really gotten claimed or signed 2 days before game and going out there and playing nickel corner. There's guys but this guy is just tremendously talented. That I have absolutely no worry about. But what I would have a little concern about is getting him up to speed. But this guy seems very bright.
You know what?
He's like not a problem.
And he seemed, and obviously, I haven't seen him yet, but just seeing at the interview that Nick did with him, he seems to be the non-wide receiver. He seemed to be very humble.
Yeah.
He said, it seemed like he didn't come in here and start big time, or at least it didn't seem like. Now, I don't know. I guess we'll get a chance maybe today in the locker room. I wish they would just set something up and we don't have to get 30 people around one guy. And
Might put him in a podium, Mickey. Would that be a good
More
idea?
than 30.
Well, it doesn't even need to be a podium, just somewhere where people can be normal and
Yeah.
and everybody can hear instead of
So are
everybody.
you tired of having to box people out like your Wes Unseld under the boards there?
I've been getting
Unseld.
I've been getting boxed out, and I'm trying to make friends with the cameramen that have a mic in there, and they have their little ear bobs,
Yeah.
and they can do without one of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes my good buddies like Hose and Alex will give me one of their
Yeah,
earbobs
so you can hear.
I can listen.
Good.
Bubs, not bobs.
Yeah.
Earbuds.
Airbubs.
Earbuds.
That's good.
Are we? Let me say, are you guys getting the feeling that? Are you guys getting the feeling a lot of pushback from fans?
Yes. Yeah.
By the
There's-
way-
Are they getting pushback because of the selection or the player?
I think probably giving up your first round pick. And, I'll sit here and say, I wish it was a second.
Sure.
But if that was the price of doing business to try to do something
Yeah.
to not only save this season, but go forward with something
Yeah.
that you were going to need
Right.
eventually,
Right.
then yeah,
I went on a huge rant yesterday, and trust me, my experience of being on the personnel side.
who'd you do it with?
No, I ranted here yesterday.
Oh.
I felt like I ranted yesterday about this, but I understand. I mean, fans, I get it. I know you don't want to give up. Hey, it's going to make me and Dane Bergler and David Hellman and those guys dig harder on the draft show. I mean, it's going to make us have to dig a lot harder, but that's what we do, and I'm okay with that. But I'm also looking at it as a situation though where you could have sat there and done nothing. And then what are you? Then, my approach has always been, I'm going to do everything I can to try and help my football team. Whatever I have to do to help my football team, I'm going to try and help my football team. You should be happy that they're at least trying to do something. You look at the Giants and what they're doing. They're trading away some of their best players. They're just giving away, Eli Apple and you can say what you want about him. He was a first round corner, gone.
Snacks.
One of their better defensive players. Good for the Cowboys. You don't have to face him anymore. But I look at it as, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make this team better right now. And if it means going out and giving a premium pickup to get a wide receiver or get somebody that can help my team, I'm all for that. I don't see, because like I said yesterday, I've been with Jerry Jones when he doesn't have a first-round pick, and it is the most agonizing thing in the world to watch, and it's the most agonizing thing in the world to be in the room with him when that's going on. But he's made the commitment to try and help his coach, his offense, and his defense, and his quarterback. These are all things that I think that, as a fan, you should appreciate that. You don't always have to agree with every move that Jerry Jones makes, I surely don't. And he's told me that. He's like, "Hey, Brian, you kick my ass pretty good, but you're fair about it. I think you have to be fair about it. But I applaud him for doing something that he, philosophy-wise, doesn't want to do. But he did it to try and help the team.
By the way, if you want to chime in, 888-855-2297, your thoughts on the trade. I think we might have taken a call or two yesterday.
Yeah, we probably should open that up a little more.
To me, there's two schools of thought that I'm hearing from fans, media, whoever. Number one, I think fans love hope. They love the draft. They love the idea of having potentially a high first-round pick. You don't know where this pick's going to fall for Oakland now. And that's hope. You've seen Amari Cooper in the league for 4 years, and you see a guy that's had a couple good seasons and a couple seasons that have fallen off a little bit. And I think that lends itself to the other side of it. I think some fans look at this like it's a Band-Aid, on a situation, a team that is probably not going to contend for a championship. And that's the frustrating part. Maybe you go ahead and you hoard that pick, you keep it, and you try to build for next year. I'm with you, Brian. I think they sent a strong message to the locker room that we're not giving up. We're not giving up on this thing.
Yeah.
And we're not going to waste a championship caliber performance out of our defense so far this season.
There's no question.
This defense is playing like a Super Bowl defense. They're giving up 17 points a game right now.
Well said.
And I guarantee you, on that side of the building, they're saying, look, if we can just score a little bit more per game, if we can just sustain some drives, score some points, we might be able to string some wins together.
Yeah.
Now, we got to figure out how to do it on the road.
Yeah.
I think everybody's at a point now where we've got to see it now. We have to see them play well on the road before we say, oh, yeah, they got this one.
But I think what Jason Garrett said yesterday shouldn't fall on deaf ears. He said this move was for now and the future.
Yeah.
They were going to need a wide receiver at some
a good point. Yes.
Right? And were you going to spend your first-round pick on a wide receiver?
There's
no guarantee.
No guarantee
that the wide receiver would be there. You may
that you wanted,
right? Or you'd be high enough to get who you want.
Yeah.
And so this is not just about this year. They were going to need this next year and the next year after that. Now, we'll see if this works out and you gambled a first-round pick, but at least what you didn't gamble was a 5-year, $50 million deal under the cap. How do you think Kansas City feels right now with Sammy Watkins?
Yeah.
26 catches in 7 games, 1 touchdown.
They feel great with their record.
Yeah, but how much has he helped?
It's working out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Do you feel good about spending, what did they spend, $45 or $50 million on the guy?
If you have their record, do you care at this point?
I would imagine
probably going to be in the
you
AFC
would
Championship
if you
game
had
this year.
negative games.
Yeah, I think that when you talk about it though, if you look at some of these wide receivers that have been drafted, I think a bigger argument would be: do you think Mike Zimmer feels good about Treadwell? Does Cincinnati, do the Brown family feel good about Ross?
It's hard to draft receivers and have them
Josh
for you right
Josh
away.
Dotson was picked about the 19th pick, I believe, with the Washington Redskins. Do you feel good about him? There's draft picks. You feel like the receiver. I think this is one of those moves where you said, yeah, absolutely. You got a young guy here. You're going to see what you got at the end of the year or the halfway through the year. You're going to see what you got here, and then you're going to build on him for next year. I think that to me, I would rather, as much as I love to draft, I understand why they did this. I really do. Because if you watch, they're trying to help this offense now is what they can, what they're trying to do. And I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. And I say it again, as much as I love to draft, as much as I would love to have a first round pick, I would also like the opportunity to try and finish this thing out. And I would like to try and win this division, and I'd like to try and get in the playoffs. Because you're absolutely right, Rob. This defense is good enough to go win a game somewhere.
They can.
They can go win a game if they can just get some help on the offense. We're asking for the line to protect better. We're asking for them to run better. We're asking them, but the one thing that they really haven't been able to do consistently enough is throw the football. And if this guy gives you the opportunity to throw the football or help you throw the football to supplement some of the other guys you have currently on this roster, I think you have to make this move.
I mean, 2 of their road losses, 2 out of 4, defense had them in position to win the game. Did enough to win the game, and you just needed a play or 2 against Houston in this last game.
You need to extend a drive or 2 to make a difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I know, Detroit game at home could have gone either way. But you could look at this team and say they should be 5-2 right now. It's possible, as poorly as they've played offensively on the road, particularly.
Right.
I think
That's what they're looking at.
I think the pulse of the fans is that they don't think that a lack of a receiver is why we're 3-4 instead of 5-3.
Yeah, they grabbed the low-hanging fruit, right?
The head coach, do you think?
Sure.
Or just, I don't know, being able to protect the quarterback, get the running game going a little bit better.
That's where we've. I'll throw me in there. This is where I've made a mistake because you come out of camp thinking you can hang your hat on this offensive line. Oh, okay, I've got an emerging Lyle Collins. Oh, I've got a healthy Tyron Smith. I've got Zach Martin. I've always count on Zach Martin.
And a healthy Travis Frederick.
And a healthy Travis Frederick.
Camp.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, though, our world is thrown upside down when you get a Lyle Collins who technique-wise is not as good as he was last year. You get Tyron Smith who's had some technique issues as well. You get a rookie that has played well at times. I mean, there's one or two times a game where he gets beat, but that happens. And then you have a center that's really your backup guy, and he's done a great job, but it's not Travis Frederick. You were thinking that this line was going to be something you could say, and that's why I believe they made the decision to play by committee with receiver.
Yes,
they're thinking, okay, we'll run the ball, we'll spread the ball around, and we'll be just fine
because we will dominate the line of scrimmage.
And they haven't dominated the line of scrimmage yet.
And we'll get Dak in comfortable down and distance
I shouldn't say
a lot.
Yet. Jacksonville was a good win.
Yeah.
And they had a prime example of what it was like with Ezekiel Elliott and what it was like without Ezekiel Elliott.
Exactly.
And that was the common denominator in what happened last year. And you went 9-7, by the way.
Yeah.
And now if you're not being productive with Zeke only every other week, which is what it's been, right?
Yeah.
Every other week. Every other week they can throw the ball. The next week they can't. The next week they can. In 1 week, Dak Prescott's still the quarterback of the future. Next week, he's not.
Yeah.
And the teeter-totter goes back and forth. Now they got to figure out why this happens on the road and why it happens at home. It's just that simple. And if people would spend a little bit more time kind of analyzing it instead of trying to get the head coach fired, every move they make is about the head coach. I read this morning, now the pressure's on because Jason Garrett's got this new toy, and if this doesn't work, he can't save his job.
Well, I think everybody
defenses can say, if this guy's any good, then he's not going to beat me.
Yeah, but you have to evaluate the team at the end of the year.
Oh, I understand that, but let's not evaluate it on one move right now when they're 3-4.
I'm more willing to have coach talk on the offseason than any other time. This is where we're at now with the coaching staff. You got to give them an opportunity to see if they can make this work. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, then the general manager will need to sit down and say, okay, this is where we were deficient. And if it's not good enough, it's not good enough, and then you need to make changes. But if you've helped him with a player and he's able to succeed, well, good for him. Good for him. But I'm with Mickey on this though. I'm avoiding the low hanging fruit of just go out and fire everybody. But I am never afraid to talk like that on the offseason if I feel like that's necessary, needs to be done. But I'm willing to give these guys this trade and these last 9 games or so to see if they can turn this thing around.
The other thing I think needs to be analyzed is they play 55 minutes on the road against Washington and scored 10 points.
Yeah.
And in 5 minutes, they were 6 inches away from scoring 10 points in 5 minutes. Now, what changed? What happened? Because they had to
protected better.
They had to move the ball down the field to score a touchdown in one of those last 2 drives.
Right.
They had to move the ball downfield to at least kick a field goal. And on top of that, the defense needed to get a 3 and out, which they got.
Yeah.
So, it's like you forget all that stuff. I understand the result. I get it. But what they did there, I was surprised. The game was over. Right? You guys left the press box. It was 20-10.
Well, we always
game
leave
over.
the press box.
Yeah,
then.
I know.
Don't
did,
give me that crap.
So did everybody else.
Okay.
There was nobody up
I have
there.
to tape a TV segment. Right
I understand. I understand that. But then you can't see what happened when you went down there.
Yeah.
Well, I got the all-22, and I went back and did that.
But you wrote before you got the all-22.
But that's our job, Nick.
But
You know
I understand. I understand. I'm just saying people left. People left the stadium. Game was over. Right?
Let's
20 to 10.
Is there a problem offensively?
Yeah, and let's take a break since you keep wanting to extend this segment. Let's take a break. We got 30 minutes left in the show. We got 2 breaks left to do. Let's take one of them right now. Come back and answer Brian's question about the offense. Also, we'll take your calls 888-855-2297 next on Talkin' Cowboys.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean. Fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Pick your plays, but not your wedgies. Tommy John is the most comfortable underwear on the planet and comes back by a no wedgie guarantee. If you suffer one of those wedgies in your Tommy Johns, then they'll give you your money back. And you know what? That's guaranteed. Shop exclusive Cowboys underwear at TommyJohns.com. TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 20% off your first order. TommyJohn.com/Cowboys.
It's almost there. It's just that dismount is just never quite right.
The Russian judge just can't quite give you that 10.
Yeah, it's like an 8.8.
Well, you know
it's
what?
solid.
It sounds like Tommy John's, and it's John.
Yeah. I told a story yesterday, Mickey. I was on national radio and told a story about you and the Tommy John reads. Actually, it was Tommy. It was you and Jack Black. I said, "Well, we have fun." The guy goes, "Yeah, you guys look, you have fun on your show." I said, "Yeah, Mickey, we have a good time with these reads, and sometimes we put the underwear on our head instead of the face products and things like that."
The Mickey reads give me life.
Yeah, and look at this up here. It's you if you suffer a wedgie in your Tommy Johns.
Yeah,
but it's apostrophe S. So they're saying there's plural. Because you have more than one Tommy John, right?
You have plenty of Tommy Johns.
Yeah.
How many we have 4 or 5?
Kind of like Long Johns.
And then it gets plural. To Tommy John.
It's a plural word. Like,
you
have Nike shoes, but you can own Nikes.
There you go, Kent. Save us. Anyway, one more thing. Caboo, Texas.
Phones, though.
Yeah, Caboo, Texas, real quick. May 10th through 12th at AT&T Stadium. Get ready to check it out. Go get your tickets. It's not just a music festival. Food.
Are we getting close to getting the lineup for this thing?
Music.
Are we asking questions I'm not supposed to?
Art. January, Brian.
January?
Yeah, they're announcing it in January.
Don't worry about that.
Okay, I just want to know if I'm fired up.
It'll be awesome. We got a friend who went in Del Mar and had a great time.
No,
they're going to carry it over here.
The bands and stuff, it's life changing.
I would expect nothing but the biggest bands in the world, knowing
there we go.
Absolutely.
What this is hyped up to be. So
Charlotte Jones Anderson will deliver.
This will be a show.
About it.
This will be a show.
Absolutely. Okay, Kent, let's hit the phone lines. Who we got first?
We got the one and only Ray in Fort Worth. Go ahead, Ray.
What's up, Ray?
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
This is a move you make when you say this is not just get to the playoffs, but make some noise in the playoffs. So we're still in this division. I was a little torn. The pick is high. Now, if the reports are true that you had the Eagles and the Redskins and other teams involved given a second, well, okay. It's an epic fail if we don't make the playoffs, maybe, advance. But what's a bigger epic fail if you go the year and a half and you had to pay Dak Prescott $130 million because then it's over with. Then there's no more oops, my bad. The owner is saying oops, my bad for thinking you can bring any one of 500 wide receivers and tight ends in here because we got Zeke.
Right.
But so it's not just on Amari Cooper. Are we getting Amari Cooper last 2 years or the 2 years, other previous years? But it's on Dak too. It's who's going to block on here?
Yeah.
I mean, because Amari Cooper won't matter if your quarterback's sitting on his ass.
I wrote that yesterday. It's not, you don't get a receiver this caliber and say everything's great, all's well.
No, but you got to get to the playoffs and maybe advance. I applaud him for saying, oops, my bad. Because he can't, because when you have to pay Dak $130 million, you're stuck. It's over with. There's no more oops, my bad. So, and you got to pay, and you're coming at a crossroads here. We're going to have to make a decision on Dak, pay him. Or is Amari Cooper just a rental player, or are you going to have to back up the Brinks trucks on him? Then you got DeMarcus Lawrence and Byron Jones, bless his heart. Nobody's talking about his play. I hate to see him leave because finally somebody in that coaching staff said, no more musical chairs with this guy. He's the corner. And when you left him alone, now you see what he can do. So I got to let this thing play out. But we're still in this division. I applaud him for saying, oops, my bad. Let me try to get to the playoffs and make some noise.
Okay.
So I'm going to let it's not, and if we don't, then you got to look at the draft if we don't make the playoffs. It's not just about a wide receiver. If we don't make the playoffs, do we pass up on a top defensive player or whatever? So you just got to let this thing play and hope we get to the playoffs and can make some noise. Because look, you got to play Atlanta. You got to play the Saints. You got to play these other teams. You still got 2 games with the Eagles. You got to score some points in here. I applaud him for trying. I just hope it works out.
Yep. Thank you, Ray.
That's a great point. You look at the teams you're about to play, and you can't be screwing around with 15, 16, 17 points a game.
No, defensively, if you can hold them in check, and we've seen some people hold, look what the Giants did the other night to Atlanta. Atlanta is a team that you worry about scoring a bunch of points. The Saints can score some points. But both those teams are pretty deficient on defense. Mm-hmm. You find a way to hold them in check, and now you get, 24, 28 points in a game. You got a chance to win a game now. Hell, you might win a game with 20 points if you just get to the 20,
That's what I'm saying, because your defense is holding teams under 20 pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Under 10 in some cases.
Yeah.
What you got over there, Mick?
I was just looking at the scores. 16, 13. 24, and I think one of those touchdowns or field goals was a turnover short field.
Mm-hmm.
19, 7, and 20, but only 13 on the defense.
Yeah.
So, if other than the Seattle giving up 24, they're in the teens.
Yeah, this thing is not going to be bad. It's going to be, you need the defense and Chris Richard and those guys and Rod Marinelli to keep playing well. Keep playing. If I'm a defensive player, I see hope now. Okay, we're going to get a guy in here that can make some plays, that can keep some drives going, that can score some points. That's what this is. I the only experience I've ever had, and this happened a long time ago, so pardon me for this. But when we won the Super Bowl in Green Bay and we didn't trade a first-round pick, but we got Andre Rison. We got Andre Rison on our team for 8 games. And Andre Rison helped us win a Super Bowl. We were 8-0 in games he played because he gave us some juice. He gave us something we didn't have. He gave us a big-time player on the outside. But again, it's not giving up a first-round pick, but it's adding somebody at midseason that has the capability and the playmaking ability to help you win games.
Just kind of shake things up too. Get the confidence going.
If I'm that locker room, I'm happy about this.
Yeah.
I'm happy that ownership in the front office didn't sit on their hands and not try anything. If they would have sat there and done nothing and said, okay, we're just going to take the pick, we're just going to finish 6-10 and not worry about this. then I would have felt worse. But, they're saying, hey, we have a chance. If we could just pull some things together, defensively we've been great. Offensively, we've got to score more points. We've got to have more drive sustained. We've got to help our quarterback. We've got to help our running game. This guy, he might be asking a lot for him to come in and save this offense, but it's really the best I can do right now. I'm trying.
Brian, we might talk about this on the draft show tomorrow, 1:30 p.m., by the way, for those who want to tune into that bi-week special.
Yeah.
But about how much you value what you know about a player rather than what you are trying to project a player can be in the first round.
Yeah.
Like they value what they know Amari Cooper is now, what they've seen, rather than what the guy next year potentially could be in the first round, whoever they pick.
Yeah. There's no question about that. I've watched already, I just kind of dabbled in and happened to watch like 3 receivers. Watch the kids from Arizona State and the 2 kids from Ole Miss, and they're supposed to be top receivers. I don't see that right now. I really don't. I'm looking at those guys, and it's not. And I did this before I even knew what Amari Cooper was, even that trade was going to be. But Dane and I sat down and he said, "Hey, you want to watch some tape?" And I sat down with him and watched a few games. I said, "Let's watch this guy from Arizona State. Let's watch this guy from these 2 guys from Ole Miss." And I'm thinking, okay, one guy can't run. The Arizona State guy doesn't look like he can run very well to me. He doesn't look like really a dynamic player out there. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, if those are the top guys, if Dane's having me look at some of the top guys already, and I'm not overly shot in the rear. Again, this is pre-Amari Cooper. Mm-hmm. This is just getting ready for a draft show tomorrow. And I don't know. I don't I'm trying to get ready now. But I know people will argue, they'll say, well, Broadus, what if they're not going to take somebody in the first? What if they weren't going to take a receiver in the first round? What if they wanted to take another? Now, this is where Nebby yesterday made a point. And this is where Nebby might be right. What if you evaluate this quarterback and you want to use a first-round pick on a quarterback? That right there, and that's a fair point that Nebby makes. What if you evaluate these last few games, this last half of the season, and you say, we just can't win with Dak Prescott consistently enough?
But I don't. Dave said this on our emergency pod a couple days ago. I don't think they. I think they're all in on Dak Prescott. At least Jerry Jones is for everything he said.
But I think Nebby brought up a really good point.
No, it's a fair point.
It's a fair point.
But everything Jerry has said, and I know that when he's asked point blank on a radio segment, what's he supposed to say?
He wants to help Dak Prescott succeed.
But they are. Everything I have seen, they are all in on trying to help him. And yes, they didn't go they parted with Dez. They didn't go get an elite receiver in the offseason, but they did spend a second-round draft pick on a left guard who they thought would remake the offensive line into another dominant force again. And that just hasn't worked out for a lot of different reasons so far. But they've tried to give him help, and I think they've recognized they haven't given him enough help. But I don't know, Mickey, if you feel the same way, but I think the front office, at this point, from everything Jerry has said, they're in on Dak Prescott as a starter for the future. And they're not looking at quarterback right now.
I just don't think everybody needs to get hung up on the fact that he's got to get paid after this season. You got another season. He's under contract.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Everybody just settle down about the money part of it.
Yeah.
You can buy time, and if you're not ready to do it, then,
Well, you can franchise him after that if you want.
And there's the other side of it that you brought up, Brian, that
I don't think they'll want to do that, but
if they're keeping their eyes open on evaluating him, this helps speed up the evaluation.
It gives him a chance. If he can't have success with a guy that I believe, and I believe they believe by the way they gave up a first-round pick, this guy is a top flight one receiver. This is not off somebody's garbage heap. This guy is a legitimate football player, a legitimate receiver. They thought that. They gave up the one. So if Dak cannot have success with a number one wide receiver, well, let's make the evaluation. But Mickey's right. You got him for a whole nother year. This could be a situation where they say, okay, we got our wide receiver. You see some positive things from Amari Cooper. You're like, okay, he's 24 years old going for it. All right, that's great. This is something we could set up. Now we could pair him with Michael Gallup and see what else we can do. Okay, what do we need now? Well, let's go look at one of these tight ends.
Right.
This is where the draft is going to go. Last year, we knew very early, at least I knew very early, that they were looking at Leighton Vander Esch. You know, I mean, you look at all the things that were going on with Sean Lee. They were not going to let that hold them hostage anymore.
And that turned out to be
a
great pick for now.
Absolutely.
That's been a great pick.
Absolutely. So you have to trust that this team has the understanding of, like, if they target a guy or two to go after, that's a good thing.
You know, maybe we'll find out that with him on the field, Amari Cooper, that'll help the offensive line. Maybe Dak's not holding the ball. Maybe somebody's getting open quicker. Maybe it's a receiver you trust a little bit more other than Cole Beasley to throw the ball to.
You got to.
Quicker.
Got to.
But the protection has to be better.
And that's why I said earlier, okay, they're putting up 15, 17 points a game. It's not enough. They're capable of more. We saw it against Jacksonville, and there were opportunities late in that Houston game. They felt like they were close because they just missed on some chances that down the field that would have won the game probably. And that was due in large part to protection. So it's not just the receivers, but they took a objective view of it and said, Garrett said it yesterday, firepower. This guy gives us firepower on the outside. I mean, that was an acknowledgement.
He gives him a guy that can get down the field along with Gallup and along with Cole Beasley. You know, when you're having to wait for Allen Hurns to run routes, and again, this is not Allen Hurns' fault. It's just the way Allen Hurns is as a player. He doesn't have the speed. But you got a guy, Amari Cooper, that could separate, go down the field and make plays, make contested plays. That's what you got to have for this offense. Maybe now Dak Prescott doesn't have to hold the ball to wait for somebody to get open.
Right.
You know, maybe now he could throw the ball and know that guy's going to go get it and go get open.
Okay, let's take our final break. Come back. We got another phone call holding and time for more of yours. 888-855-2297 next on Talkin' Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup. And now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yep, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper soft coolers at otterbox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Want to use what the pros use. Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Get your Jack Black Playmaker. 4 JB Faves plus full-size lip balm. And you never know when you need some lip balm. And that's only $10
coming up.
And free shipping at getjackblack.com. Use that Cowboys code.
Something else they do really well is sunblock.
Yeah.
Jack Black does some really good sunblock. So if you're one of those guys like me or ladies, you like to fish, be outdoors, check you out some Jack Black sunblock. It is really, really good. Very
or if
helpful.
you're out in training camp every day, twice a day.
Yeah, we were putting it all over our face on that stuff. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Kent, back to the phone lines for our last segment. Who we got next?
Yeah, we got Greg in Ohio. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, guys. Mickey, you're the man.
Absolutely.
I love this trade. We shored up this defense, and basically, what are we going to spend the first-round draft pick on anyway? And we need a wide receiver. Well, really, but I would be really surprised if this team loses more than one game the rest of the season.
Wow.
Because not only since 2016, nobody feared Des Bryant going deep.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna have to respect this young man.
Okay.
They're not gonna put 9 in the box. I would be surprised if Zeke didn't average over 120 yards a game. That's how confident I am.
Things going well in Ohio, Greg.
Not this week. But we got Michigan.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
There you go.
That can make up for a lot of things.
That can make up for. They haven't ever beat you guys. I know that.
You know what? I'm now pretty proud of Missouri going into Purdue and winning on a last-second field goal.
Yeah, man. Yeah. How about those Boilermakers?
Boilers.
So 8-1 down the stretch, huh? I'm not asking for that. I'm asking for, what are 9 games left?
I'm asking to put together 4 or 5. I'm asking for 3 or 4 wins in a row. Just get me something where I could build a little momentum. Get me to those things. There's going to be some tough days ahead. That game against New Orleans is not going to be easy, but you don't know what's going to happen on that, after the week after Thanksgiving. You don't know what shape their team's going to be in or your team. But, you have an opportunity. Again, the game's at home. We don't have to go down there to the Mercedes-Benz Dome to go play football.
They have shown promise on offense, protection, receiving, especially running. And that's one thing I think's gotten lost a little bit. Now, as much as they struggled offensively every other week, they entered the Washington game with the second-best running game in the NFL.
Right.
So they have some things they can hang their hats on. Now you've got a guy who can make some plays on the outside.
If this guy shows what he's been able to show in the past, he will clearly help this football team. There's no question in my mind that he will help this football team. He is different than anything they have, the front office has told you, hey, we messed up this receiver by committee bit. We're going to go out and get a guy who can legitimately go and make plays. Mm-hmm. And so to me, I'm all for that. The price was steep. There's no question the price was steep. But it also, though, you're looking at this and saying, you know what, we're not going to waste, like what you're saying, Rob, we're not going to waste a great opportunity for our defense. We're not going to waste an evaluation on the quarterback. And we're not going to waste an opportunity to try and help our running back, too.
And waste an opportunity to get a unique player in a unique situation. This doesn't usually happen where a guy's just available like this. Yeah. I mean, they view him as a Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. Yeah. Like you said, for a year and a half, it's a manageable contract situation.
Right.
It's unique that John Gruden has decided to turn over his entire roster.
That's what John wants to do.
That doesn't always happen.
Nope.
This is an opportunity that they felt like they had to jump at. High price. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah. You mentioned the running game.
Yeah.
They were second. They're now third after only gaining 74 yards against the Redskins. And Zeke, after gaining only 34 yards, is still the second leading rusher in the National Football League behind Todd Gurley, and he's only like 60 yards behind. So that tells you how good this running game has been compared to what the rest of the league is doing. Even though they had a bad game, they're still at the top. So
I just want to point out it's not all bad.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they are running the ball decently. Dak's running the ball decently, and if you get somebody to take some pressure off the offensive line, that they can't keep playing 8 men in the box. They can't keep blitzing. And I think that's one of the problems. Teams have no problem blitzing this team.
Yeah.
They aren't worried about it.
Yeah.
And so when
you're not going to get the ball out before they get home.
They get there, and then when they play single safety high, it's like, okay, now you see Michael Gallup do a double move on the cornerback and burn his butt.
Yeah,
and then you give them some thought. So now with Cooper, that's what's got to happen. I don't even care if they complete the ball to him. Just show that you're willing to do it.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to cover it.
Yeah.
Because it's like Jimmy Johnson would say with Alexander Wright. He was fast. He didn't know how to play wide receiver, and he didn't catch the ball, right? But he said, you know what? As fast as he is, they have to worry about what if he does.
Yeah.
And they got to cover him. So I think this will help the running game, and it'll help the offensive line if indeed he still has that speed.
If it doesn't, then there are other issues.
Sure.
And that's off-season talk. That's staff. That's players. That's everything about it. That's where then now you say, okay, this is what we tried to do. It didn't work, and we need to take a different approach.
Okay, Kent, back to the phone lines. Who we got?
We got Travis in San Antonio.
What's up, Travis?
How we doing?
Good. What's up?
I just wanted to call and ask you guys, watching the Redskins game, I know, Dak was on his butt a lot, so it's hard to make a lot of plays, and I do applaud them for being aggressive and going out there and getting someone to at least change it up. It wasn't a change that I would have done earlier, but it's at least a change, and it's, they're trying, like you guys said.
Yeah.
My question is, I guess, watching that Redskins game, you guys just kind of talked about it. There was a lot of pressure, and they were worried about getting the ball out before they got pressure on Dak.
Yep.
I think something that they miss with Witten, I remember back in the day, if they were getting pressure like that, there'd be hot. There'd always be a hot.
Yep.
He'd be, he'd identify someone coming in, and he'd step out. It'd be a 3-yard pass, and if you get 4 or 5 yards against the blitz, that's great. So I think they missed that. And then the other thing is, Brian, yesterday you were talking about Derek Carr. I've watched Derek Carr too, and I know that he hasn't been as good as he was in the past.
That's true.
But I do worry about the fact that you kind of said the same things about Dak a few weeks ago about sometimes even when he sees somebody open, he's not letting it rip.
Yeah.
So I worry about that transitioning over to Cooper, whereas is he going to get open a whole bunch and he's not going to throw it?
Yep.
Even if he gets protection, or what's going to happen? So I just wanted you guys to talk about that and maybe the hot stuff. And have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Travis.
Usually it's when Witten is detached. Remember when he was detached from the line that you get the hot because you get his guy on the blitz.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he would turn 4 or 5 yards field, clap his hands, and look for the ball. Mm-hmm. So but they haven't been getting. It hasn't been so much the slot blitz stuff. It's been the inside stuff that Mickey's been talking about. They've had a lot of problems with the twist stuff up front too. That's been something that's given them an issue. I think the thing with the evaluation with Dak and not pulling the trigger, I think that is fair. I think that's fair to say. And if we do get into these games and Amari Cooper is getting open and he's not getting the ball, well, then now it goes back to the evaluation of the quarterback. Is it something that you can work with and try and develop, or is this like Troy Aikman would say, arm talent and anticipation is something you're born with? He's made some throws that I felt like the throw to Cole Beasley. And if you watch on DallasCowboys.com, did we put up the film stuff that I did yesterday?
Yes, we did.
Okay, check that out because on the pass I broke down to Beasley, he threw that ball before Beasley broke, and I talked about that. So if you go on DallasCowboys.com and watch the film room, from the Academy Sports and Outdoors film room there. If you watch the play, he throws the ball clearly before Beasley gets out of his break.
Which one are you referencing?
The third down, the one that was 3rd and 10 that he caught for 18 yards, I believe it was.
Okay.
Yeah. He had Preston Smith right in his face, and he had no choice but to try and throw the ball to where he was. He anticipated Cole Beasley getting to that spot and threw the ball, and it worked out great for him. So there's times where you've seen him throw with anticipation, and then there's other times where he hasn't. And so that's where I think a lot of it had to do with the sack and the fumble was if they had somehow managed to pick up the Kerrigan's rush, if they picked up Kerrigan's rush, I think Dak is able to make that throw, but then he saw the white flash and it took his eyes down, and then he had to move. But there's anticipation things he has troubles with, but he also, again, it's funny, you'll see him watch that play. He throws it with some anticipation, to Beasley. Don't and I stop it for you and show you when the ball's out and where Beasley is in his route to make that adjustment.
See, in the Kerrigan thing,
his tight end was blocking.
The tight end blocked him,
and then went out.
He released.
Yeah.
And so everybody else is engaged with their blocking guys, and he loops all the way from the Cowboys' far right, and he comes around all the way down the middle.
Yeah, actually, he's from the left, Mickey. He was left. He was a left outside and came inside. And
he was to the Cowboys' right.
He was Cowboys' right. Excuse me, I would say Washington left.
Yeah,
okay.
The Cowboys' right, and he comes all the way, and he goes around 3 offensive linemen who are engaged, and comes down, and it was like, here's the tunnel, and here comes the locomotive. Where do I go?
Yeah.
And I heard all these people talking about, well, they had so-and-so was wide open on the outside. Well, Kerrigan was wide open coming up the middle, and he's standing in the end zone. And that's when he realized, oh, I'm in the end zone. I got to get out of here.
Got to get out, yeah.
And he tried to spin out, and unfortunately, Kerrigan beat him to knock the ball out. Reminded me of that '92 game
They showed that on TV.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Same thing, same score, by the way. Got beat 20-17 because of that same play.
Just another odd entry in this
to
rivalry.
That Redskin rivalry. It's weird stuff happens.
Yep, absolutely.
Snap infractions,
and then you hit the goalpost after the make-believe call on the snap infraction.
Yeah.
Snap infraction.
I think that was just a coaching move more than anything. Whether he infracted it or not, he made the referee believe he was doing it. And, hey, might as well mention this. It could pay off at the end of the game, and surely it did when they jumped off.
And the Redskins jumped. And
Redskins coaches.
Redskins coaching.
Yeah,
So you're saying they jumped off sides on purpose?
Yes.
He probably
go look at
it. He alerted the referee, hey, he's moving the ball, and he told his guys.
Go look at it. Because the guy that jumped off sides, he jumped because his partner next to him flinched.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go look at it, but we got to go to practice first. It's over. Show's over.
We got 10 seconds.
Playing it right now.
Yeah. Kids playing it right now. We'll get a review on it after the show ends. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for your calls and your input on the Amari Cooper trade. Thanks to Brian, Mickey, Kent producing. Bill will be back hosting. We'll talk more Cowboys on Thursday.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?